Good evening. Welcome to the Collective. My name's Leah Bowden, and tonight is the All Booked Book Club, the Poetry Edition, because it is summer. And so this summer we have been just spending a little bit of time in poetry. I specifically selected two poetry compilations this summer, which is I've got two versions of this, and I've grabbed the hardback tonight. Mary Oliver's, it's so heavy, it just knocked me out. Mary Oliver's Devotions and Langston Hughes selected poems. But this time last month when we got together and read poetry, we just kind of read poems together, and people brought poems from their various favorites, and it was really lovely. So please feel free. If you are here live with us, just share some poetry. And if you're watching on the replay, maybe pop your favorite poem, either from these books or your own, that you love to read into the comments. We'd love to hear and we'd love to read. We always love poetry recommendations. So hi Jessica, nice to see you.
Hi.
So it's just the four of us. Just the
Oh, wow.
So we should have had tea, like did our little poetry tea, shouldn't we? Have you got yours? Oh, very good. You see, it's evening for us lot.
Got water.
Water. Yeah, that's what we all need. Would anyone like to start us off then with a poem? And we can just take turns reading a few, and whether we're here for 10 minutes or an hour, it doesn't really matter. We'll just share some poetry. Anything strike you this month? I'm trying to find the one. Leah's ready.
I found one in Mary Oliver again that sort of spoke to me, and especially as kind of homesteading folks. Just as the calendar began to say summer.
Oh, which page? What page is that on?
That one's, sorry, I can't. My eyesight is getting so bad now.
No,
191. Yeah,
191.
191, I think.
Follow along.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it is. So it's I went out of the schoolhouse fast and through the gardens and to the woods, and spent all summer forgetting what I'd been taught, 2 times 2 and diligence and so forth, how to be modest and useful and how to succeed and so forth, machines and oil and plastic and money and so forth. By fall I had healed somewhat, but was summoned back to the chalky rooms and the desks to sit and remember the way the river kept rolling its pebbles, the way the wild wrens sang though they hadn't a penny in the bank, the way the flowers were dressed in nothing but light. And I just thought,
Wow.
oh, it's sad. you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
That's such a great poem. Oh my goodness. The way that, and sit and remember the way the river kept rolling its pebbles. And the great, home educated children just get to continue.
Yeah. There's not that dread of September and that yeah. Going back to the chalky rooms and the desks and having to sit still.
And there's something, there's something there, isn't there, about well, for us, we did take a break over the summer, but then coming back to our rhythm but it was always so rich and beautiful that we looked forward to it. And we still love the smell of fresh pencils being sharpened and what
Yeah.
books are we digging into, but it's a different anticipation, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's so wonderful. And I remember I was telling somebody the other day that the first week, traditionally for years I did this, the first week of, oh, maybe I was telling you, April, I can't remember, the first week of home educating, because all the kids had gone back to school and all the galleries were empty and the parks were empty, and I would just do a week of trips. So they were like, when do we start? And we just go to all these places because they were empty, like, right, we're going to go see some art and we're going to go and play in this park. And yeah, so it's a very different beginning, isn't it? Very, very different beginning. But this is so classic of, yeah, yeah. Forgetting what I've been taught. I love that one. I need to put my page over. Jessica's moving. Where are you going?
I just had to move location. I thought that I could sit downstairs. I thought everybody was occupied in other rooms, but it turns out everybody's in the kitchen. Everybody's
never
now.
are.
I've just come up to our bedroom now.
Yeah.
Oh dear, never mind.
There you go.
I have one also from Mary Oliver. It's on page 316 called The Summer Day.
I love that one.
Is this the poem that everybody quotes?
Yeah.
These last lines. When I got to it, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So if you ever listen, I can't remember if I've ever linked to it. I need to remember to do this. The interview with Krista Tippett, one of the very, very few interviews that Mary Oliver ever did. She talks about this poem because Krista Tippett's daughter, as a 12-year-old, memorized it and recited it, and she played it for Mary. It was such a cool moment. And she said, she tells the story of the origin of that poem, and she was at a birthday party eating birthday cake, and a grasshopper was on her plate trying to eat the icing from the cake. And that's where the inspiration for the poem came from. It's so cool. But that last, so what will you do with your one wild and precious life, has been quoted time and time and time again. And people use it and don't know what the poem is. They don't have a clue who wrote it, or yeah. So do read it for us, April, because
when I came across that, I was like, wait a minute, that came from Mary Oliver. I didn't even
yeah.
Okay, so it's The Summer Day. Page 316. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Excuse me. Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is grazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I don't know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I had never encountered the rest of the poem, and I had never realized that she was the one that wrote it. I didn't even know it was part of a poem.
Yeah.
No, neither did I. I'd heard that, I'd seen it quoted so many places and didn't realize either, to be honest.
Yeah. Hey, Melanie, look, we're twinning. Look.
That's great.
This is my friend Melanie. We got to hang out in Minnesota, but she's only recently joined the collective. So I'm glad you put your camera on, Melanie. You're very brave this evening. It's like we're all sat in your car with you reading poems. Yeah. I love that one, April. Thank you for sharing that. I've got a really short one here called Praying. This is from page 131 of Devotions. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Oh, it's so poignant. A doorway into thanks. So noticing is a doorway into thanks. I love that. Mary, honestly, she never fails, does she? What have you got for us then, Jessica?
Well, I don't have any Mary Oliver ones.
That's
because
all right.
I got the book out the library and then I was going to renew it, but somebody was waiting for it, so I had to return it. So
shame.
It just went. So I was like, oh, I can't remember now. But I've got a poem that is not by either of Langston Hughes or Mary Oliver, but I was hoping to join the book club last month. We were away on holiday and I thought, oh, we'll be able to just sneak that hour in, but it didn't happen. But we were actually I picked up this lovely old, I don't know if you can see, sea
Oh,
poems book
gorgeous.
way back in the new year, just in a charity shop, and thought I'm going to save that until we're away by the sea and read it then. I don't know if anybody else
Oh,
does that and saves books for the
yes.
appropriate
Holiday.
moment.
Yes.
And it was great. And we were staying in this really, really old, Brixham is like a really old little fishing port town in Devon in England. And we were staying in one of these very, very old and very narrow little cottages that's just like over 4 floors, you know, really old thick walls, all that kind of thing. And I was flicking through this book and I came across this poem. And I just thought, oh gosh, this, you know, I can feel this sitting here in this house. So I'll read it to you. It's by Christina Rossetti and it's called A Fisherwife. The soonest mended, nothing said, and help may rise from east or west. But my 2 hands are lumps of lead. My heart sits leaden in my breast. O north wind, swoop not from the north. O south wind, linger in the south. O come not raving, raging forth to bring my heart into my mouth. For either husband out at sea, afloat on feeble planks of wood. He does not know what fear may be. I would have told him if I could. I would have locked him in my arms. I would have hid him in my heart. For oh, the waves are fraught with harms, and he and I so far apart. And I just loved that. And sitting in the little courtyard at the back of that house, I thought, gosh, how many women have lived in this house and felt like that with husbands out at sea, you know? And it sort of gave me a shiver, you know? But yeah, really.
You know, it reminds me of, that's a brilliant phrase. This artist, I always forget his name, Walter Langley, and he was part of the Newland like painters group, and he basically painted that's just one of his things, but they're all about women who had men who went off to sea, and they're kind of like New Quay and like around that area. I've got a whole collection. I went down there to see. You can see this one. He's going off to sea, and often the pictures depict the women crying and like mourning, grieving because they haven't come back, and they're basically, he just painted these loads and loads of pictures of these fishing villages, but the people and how they responded to their men going off to sea. So it just reminded me of those. So yes, you should check him out, Walter Langley.
Let me just jot him down.
Yeah, Walter Langley. Where did I go? Oh, Penley House Gallery. I actually, when we were down in Cornwall once, I specifically said, right, we're going on a side mission because I want to find this village where he, you know, where he paint. I've got loads of them. And their faces are, I mean, that's an older grandma lady, but you know, and I think these were actual people, and he just did all these portraits. She's reading a Bible. Sometimes they're like knitting and yeah, all the women would come together when their men were at sea. Such a brilliant pieces of work. And I love it when poetry and art comes together. It's my favorite thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I love that one. Thank you for sharing that, Jessica.
You're welcome.
All right, who's next? You got one for us, Melanie? You got a poem?
I am so not picky.
Oh, don't worry. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you and see you.
Okay, great. So I was not familiar with Mary Oliver before I joined the collective. And I had just seen bits and bobbles like on Instagram, little quotes out of things. And so I did not purchase a book, but I just went online and started looking for poems. And I was like, wow, I really feel like I don't know, I just really feel like I can relate to her. Like, just the nature aspect of it is like really big in my life. So really enjoyed. And I don't know, has anyone already read Where Does the Temple Begin? Where Does It End? Okay.
I don't think so.
That's the one I printed out to bring.
Right.
Okay. There are things you can't reach, but you can reach out to them, and all day long. The wind, the bird flying away, the idea of God. and it can keep you as busy as anything else and happier. The snake slides away, the fish jumps like a little lily out of the water and back in. The goldfinches sing from the unreachable top of the tree. I look. Morning to night, I am never done with looking. Looking, I mean, not just standing around, but standing around as though with your arms open. And thinking, maybe something will come, some shining coil of wind or a few leaves from any old tree. They are all in this too. And now I will tell you the truth. Everything in the world comes, at least closer and cordially, like the nibbling, tinsel-eyed fish, the unlooping snake, like goldfinches, little dolls of gold fluttering around the corner of the sky of God, the blue air.
Wow. Which part which part stood out to you, Melanie? Was there a part that you really loved?
Well, really the entirety of the concept of just in the season of my life that I've been in, I have really found that being outdoors to literally feel God through nature, and it's so de-stressing, and just to forget and to be looking, like she said, expectantly, how'd she say, not just standing around, but standing around as though with your arms open and just expectant of what God can show me. And I had a crazy experience last year, and there have been quite a few, like, since I've kind of had this mindset, I've had quite a few really interesting experiences. But one was we had gone to, I live in Middle Tennessee, and we have a lot of creeks here. And so we had gone to a creek, and my kids were swimming, and I don't normally get in the water, but I got in, and it was just knee deep probably, but I got kind of on my bottom and had my feet sticking up out of the water, and a dragonfly came and landed on my toe.
Oh my word.
And sat there for a good long minute. And of course, I'm in the water, so I didn't have my cell phone. And I was like, Lord, this is just so neat. And help me remember this. I don't always remember pictures very well. And so when I got home, I was like trying to draw it just to remember the moment. And then it was funny because we left there, and one of my kids lost a garment, and so I drove back to find the garment, and while I was driving, a song by Fernando Ortega came on called Dragonfly.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, that's really funny. Just a coincidence.
But I love that.
Anyway, I love to be outdoors and see the wonders of creation. So I just felt it was really special. That's all.
Really special. I love that happened to you. You won't forget that now, though, will you? With that image and the song and that's so cool.
Right. It was really neat.
Yeah, I do. I love those moments when I remember. There's moments when you think, gosh, I could have missed this. I could have, like, I've been by the river early in the morning on my own sometimes, or walking a dog generally, but in parts where people don't normally walk, like they don't use the park in that way, but there is this beautiful river. And I remember seeing, was sat really quietly and seeing a gray, what was it? Oh gosh, it was a bird I'd not seen before. It was like a long-tail something, but it was one that stayed by the water.
Wagtail.
Wagtail, a grey wagtail. Yes, a grey wagtail, and then an egret, and then the heron. And I was just like, and I wanted to, when you want to freeze that moment.
Yeah.
And there's no one to show, like, oh, look. And I don't think I had my phone on me. Like you were saying, Melanie, I think I was just like, if I wasn't here in this moment, like nobody else knows this grey wagtail is there. Nobody else knew. So many people miss the heron. And yet you have to put yourself in the way of it, don't you? You have to kind of just linger. I always see the best birds when I sit still and just look at the trees. And it's just a real lesson in slowing down and patience and creating that space. But I remember just having this big, like, and walking back home, seeing loads of people like walking their dogs or kids playing and thinking, little do you know what's through those trees. Look what you're missing out on. Yeah.
And you know, I think sometimes it's even more special when you don't have your phone and you don't get that picture, because it's just your connection with whatever it is you've seen, and you're not able to sort of pass it around and share it, and it just becomes something, you know, sort of personal almost, doesn't it, really?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. I have a this is not from one of our collections. This is a Gerard Manley Hopkins. So he's a if you've heard of him, let me just find you, British poet. And when was he around? Let me just try to find you his era. Let's have a look. Probably won't find it. No, we'll have to Google it later. I mean, you know, he's an old poet of old. April's looking. Or maybe she's not. All right, and this one is this is called Hurrahing in Harvest, which, and there's a little, this was illustrated, so it's got a little very English picture of kind of late August, September, when all the hay is being collected, and it's very reflective of that. So Hurrahing in Harvest by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Summer ends now. Now, barbarous in beauty, the stooks rise. Around, up above, what wind walks, what lovely behaviour of silk stack clouds, has wilder, wilful, wavier, meal drift moulded ever and melted across skies. I walk, I lift up heart, eyes, down all that glory in the heavens to glean our Saviour. And eyes, heart, what looks, what lips yet gave you a rapturous love's greeting of reeler, of rounder replies. And the azurous hung hills are his world-wielding shoulder, majestic as a stallion's stalwart, very violet sweet. These things were here, and but the beholder wanting, which two when they once meet, the heart rears wings bold and bolder, and hurls for him, oh, half hurls earth for him, off under his feet. His alliteration is I'm down with it. It's my kind of thing. I love it.
Yeah, it's almost a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it, in places?
It was, and you
Yeah.
I almost wanted to go reeler of rounder replies. So he's definitely the old English poet, and they like to say their things in really, but it's like a passionate, he talks about Christ a lot. He's very spiritual in his poetry, but he also talks about nature a lot. So he's the one that you may have heard. I mean, Sarah Clarkson quotes him a lot. She's one of his favorites. I'm trying to see if it's in here. Some of them make a lot more sense. I mean, here's one, Heaven Haven. I have desired to go where spring not fail, to fields where flies no sharp and sided hail, and a few lilies blow. And I have asked to be where no storms come, where the green swell is in the havens dumb, and out of the swing of the sea. That's a nun takes the veils. It's about a nun basically taking her vows and never coming back out again. So he does talk a lot about stuff like that. But yeah, he's got a really well-known one which I've quoted before on stuff, but I'll find it a little bit later. He does loads on seasons and just He's a bit Wordsworthy, but no, actually, yeah, Wordsworth in language, but Wordsworth was a little bit more ethereal, a bit more kind of woo-woo, wasn't he?
Away with the
Whereas he
fairies.
is definitely loved Jesus. Hi, Kathy. All right, who's got another one for us? Anybody else got another one? I'm going to find a Mary one. I've got my wrong version. I haven't got the version with me that has millions of paper clips in it.
Do you have another Hopkins one that was special?
Do you know, I do. I'm trying to find the one that I wanted to show you. Maybe it's in another book. It might have been another. I feel like it's in another little book. I've got so many. This gorgeous, this old Burns poetry book. It's so, I mean, you want to smell it. It's like got, oh, so good. I need to
I'm
spend more time smelling my.
I'm raising my kids right. My little daughter is 12, and when I buy her a vintage book, she just opens it and buries her nose in it. It's so
You
cute.
have to smell it. You do?
Yeah,
You
I've
have
taught my girls that as
Me
well.
too, yeah. And my eldest daughter has even taught her boyfriend how to do it. I've got a picture of him, and he's not not from that kind of laugh. And I've got a picture of him. He was like, "What's your mum doing?" when we were in a bookshop once, and she said, "Try it." And so he opened a book, and we snapped a picture, like we're discipling him. Yeah. Yeah, I won't flick through all those. I have got other Manly Hopkins ones, but it's not in this one. The one that I wanted, it's not particularly in this one. But I definitely have other. We haven't read Wild Geese yet, have we? It's actually on the back of here. It's a really well-known Mary Oliver. I'll read this one. Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, and mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. That's a really well-known one too. That's oft quoted.
That's beautiful. I love that one. Yeah, yeah.
Gorgeous.
I've heard that one before.
So
Read it as well.
lovely. Yeah, I love it. And I think she would edit. I'm gonna, you know what, actually, while you're all here, I'm going to find I'm going to give you the link to the interview because you'll find it really interesting. I mean, she wasn't a Christian. She really said poetry saved her because I think I've shared that story before about her traumatic childhood. Excuse me, I can't type and talk at the same time. I've lost that skill. But she has an insight. There's something really special about her. Here we go. She's got such a lovely face. Let me find. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. So when my kids were younger, I bought a couple of her books on Audible so that they could hear her reading them to her, and we loved that. Just listening to the poet read the poetry. There you go. So there's the interview. Now I've given it to you. You've got to remind me. Put it in the Substack replay, but you guys can at least listen to it. Yeah, so save that somewhere. It's a really, and Krista says on the interview that Mary doesn't really do interviews, so it was quite rare. And it was not long after that she died of lung cancer. She's a heavy smoker. Heavy smoker. But yeah, really interesting story. All right, well, should we have a couple more? Anybody else got one for us? Anything else you'd like to read before bed? Well, it is before bed here. I love It Was Early. Did I read this one last month? I don't think I did I? No, I don't think I did. You know, I'm an early riser and an early walker, so any poems that she writes about mornings and early, and she's got a whole it'll be on here. She's got a whole collection called Why I Love Mornings, and I really resonate with that one. So this one is It Was Early. It was early, which has always been my hour to begin looking at the world. And of course, even in the darkness, to begin listening to it, especially under the pines where the owl lives and sometimes calls out as I walk by, as he did on this morning. So many gifts. I think I did read this last month, but hey, we have it twice. That's gone. So many gifts. What do they mean? In the marshes where the pink light was just arriving, the mink with his bristle tail was stalking the soft-eared mice, and in the pines the cones were heavy, each one ordained to open. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Little mink, let me watch you. Little mice, run and run. Dear pine cone, let me hold you as you open. I love that. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. That needs to be underlined, everybody. That's on page 72. How
What
lovely
is the title of the book that you're reading from?
Devotions.
Okay.
It's a huge, I mean, this is hardback. Mine's huge. I have got the softback as well. I've bought them at the different seasons of my life. This was supposed to be for somebody else, but they already had it. So this is huge. But I think it's basically a curation of her compilations, maybe. It's got like all different ones inside. So yeah, it's really good. But you can get all her her smaller collections. I think they're all downstairs. Trying to find another example of them.
I find that her choice of language is so much like a believer.
I know. You need to listen to that interview, Melanie. It's really interesting. She explains what she believes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like when she said the pine cone was ordained to open, I mean,
I
that's
know.
really interesting choice of words.
I know. And I think that's why so many Christians do love her work and do kind of, yeah, just kind of connect and relate to her poetry. But it ultimately is reflecting the creator, isn't it? And that's really what she's done. Yeah, it is interesting. But yeah, I would encourage you to listen to the interview. I mean, if I think the transcription is even on there, so you can kind of pull out some of the stuff she says. But I've listened to it multiple times. I was hyper focused on it for a while. And she's got a book called she only wrote, I mean, she wrote a couple of prose books or trade books, and one is all about basically teaching poetry. So I've forgotten the title of it, but I've read that. And then there's another one which has small kind of mini essays which I've read. But apart from that, she just wrote poetry. And I guess she taught. She did a lot of teaching. But yeah, fascinating lady. Are there any other poets that you guys are enjoying or that you've learned about recently or over the years? or even poets that you're sharing with your children. And while you're thinking of that, I'm just going to wheel back and pick something up.
I've been reading quite a bit of Dylan Thomas at the moment because I am half Welsh, and my nana passed down to me a great big thick book of his poetry, and I do love it. And then I discovered on YouTube that there is some recordings of him actually reading his poetry, which is just wonderful with his, like, you know, really rich Welsh accent, because we're going to Wales next week, and I thought, again, I need appropriate, you know,
absolutely you do.
everything. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to sneak away. We're really close to Larne, where he had his kind of little writing place, which it was in sort of like a sail loft almost, or cabin or something. So yeah, so I've been deep into kind of Dylan Thomas and all that at the moment. So,
that's so good.
really
I love it. I love it when you go out to travel somewhere and you sat, and you kind of like, what can I read? What can I take?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's
that's
my thing at the
lovely.
moment. Yeah. So,
and being in the landscape of what they describe, that's why I love, I mean, another reason why I love the Lake District is I love Wordsworth, and listening to how he describes and names the fells and the different areas. It's so cool.
yeah, absolutely.
I've got a really quirky poem here, which is a modern poem, and this is the book The Orange by Wendy Cope. And I remember hearing this poem, and I remember seeing it like massive when it came out in Waterstones in this big picture, and it's just really quirky. The Orange. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all my jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. It's cute, isn't it?
I really like that. Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
I remember hearing it for the first time. I think, again, I heard it on an interview or something, and I was like, that is such a great reflection on something so simple. I love, and that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Yes, ordinary things, they do make us happy. So that is The Orange. I'll have to post it in the I haven't read this whole collection, but I did buy it for that poem. I was heavily influenced. And the cover is very cool. It's really small. I mean, look at it compared to this is Devotions. That's The Orange. It's like a diddy book that you can take on holiday with your Jessica. That's what we like. All right. Well, are there any others you'd like to share? Otherwise, we shall call it a day. Call it a poetry day. We are. Have you got one, April? Have you got one? Have you got one? Yes. I was going to say we're we need to make the most of this light poetry because we're about to dive into something very heavy, aren't we, in September and October? Are you ready? You're bracing
Yeah,
yourself
so
for some Lewis.
this is not necessarily like poetry, but I have been buying old hymnals that I find in bookstores.
Yes.
And of course, they always smell really good.
Smell good, yes.
And I've been reading the ones that I don't know the tune to. I've been reading them to my kids like poems because they kind of feel that way, right? And so so I've been doing that because there's quite a few that like I don't know what they sound like and I cannot read music. So and then I also found these that This Sings Then Sings My Soul.
Oh,
And they go through like a hymn and then they tell the story of who wrote the hymn and what was happening at the time and what was the inspiration behind it. Or sometimes it's like this was a hymn that was written a really long time ago and then it was found by this person and then used in this way, and then it became popular or whatever. And so it's just been kind of fun. It's not quite poetry, but it's
Oh,
poetry
it's
adjacent.
great. I love that. You're going to share a hymn with us? Did you have a found or a couple of lines from a hymn maybe that you didn't know the tune to? I mean, I love Wesleyan hymns, and because I mean that's how they used to teach theology, isn't it? Through hymns.
Yeah. So here's one called "Oh for a Faith That Will Not Shrink."
Oh,
Oh for a faith that will not shrink, though pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe, that will not murmur nor complain beneath the chastening rod, but in the hour of grief or pain will lean upon its God.
wow.
Yeah.
That is poetry, isn't it? It really is. How beautiful.
It's kind of neat.
That does really read like a poem, doesn't it? If you didn't know that it wasn't a poem,
Yeah.
Never thought about it like that. If you don't know the kind of tune, then read it as a poem.
Just read it out.
Great idea.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing that, April. That's great. All right. Well, this has been lovely. For reminder, and for those watching on the replay, we are September and October are reading C.S. Lewis Until We Have Faces, which is a completely different thing. And I have never read it. So I think I'm going to be listening and reading because I think it's quite dense, but we thought we'd challenge ourselves. And then I do believe November, December, it's North and South. Gaskell, Elizabeth Gaskell. So finishing the year strong, guys, finishing the year strong. So we've got 2 great books that will make us really clever. Right. Well, I am off to Paris this weekend for a whole week with my family. So I'm going on Sunday and we're going to be there just slowly exploring the streets of Paris with my 2 my younger teenagers. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So it's a family holiday, but also my extended 50th sort of celebration. So that's what we'll be doing. So I won't be around next week, but the calendar reflects that. So you shall see me at some point. I think I'm around for the Bronte Room tomorrow though. So if you want to hang out and do some felting or some journaling, I shall be here for that. But until next time, bless you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.